Hey everybody, David here, and this is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition archetype breakdown. And this particular archetype breakdown, we're going to be looking at one of the new monastic traditions out of the Sword Coast Adventures guide, and we're going to be taking a look at the Way of the Soul. Very interesting monk archetype. So, whenever you choose any class in D&D 5th Edition, you're going to choose one of the core base classes from the player's handbook. And there are 12 of them. And they range everything from a cleric to a druid to a monk to a fighter to a paladin, all the way to a wizard, warlock, or sorcerer. So there's a very, very, very broad range of classes to choose from. There's a very nice assortment of classes to choose from in D&D 5e. Now, whenever you choose your base class, you're also going to, depending on the level and the class itself, you're going to get to choose an archetype or more flavor for your class. And for the monk, you get to choose a monastic tradition at level 3. So as a monk, you're going to see that you get a plethora of things already from 1st to level 20, which is max level in D&D 5e. You're going to get plain martial arts damage from 1d4 starting all the way to 1d10 as it scales up to your level. Your key points, which is the bread and butter of the monk class, you'll start with 2 at level 2 all the way up to 20, and then you're going to see you get more unarmored movements. As long as you're not wearing any armor, you're going to get a 10-foot bonus all the way up to a 30-foot bonus, and that is on top of your base movement. So if you're a wood elf at 35 feet around, with a monk, you're going to get 65 feet around, which is crazy. And the amount of features that you get for the monk is pretty much the only class in D&D 5e where you really get something or multiple things every single level from 1 to 20. Which, in all reality, makes the monk one of the most versatile and one of the strongest classes in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. I really like the monk. It's probably one of my favorite classes. Now, like I said, whenever you choose your monastic tradition at level 3, that's where you get to add the flavor. And this Way of the Sun Soul is that flavor. And when you choose the Way of the Sun Soul, this is where you want your monk to learn how to channel within your life energy into searing bolts of light, meaning like fire and radiant energy. So your monastic tradition, your monastery, teaches you that meditation can unlock the ability to unleash the indomitable light shed by the soul of every living creature. So like I said, on top of all of these features that you're already going to get, you're going to get 4 more, which kind of specializes or flavors your monk. And there's quite a few different archetypes or subclasses for the monk. So the Way of the Sun Soul is more on radiant energy and actually casting magic, which is really nice. So whenever you choose your monastic tradition at level 3, you're going to get Radiant Sunbolt. And this is where you can hurl searing bolts of magical radiance. So you are going to gain a ranged spell attack that you can use with the attack action. Alright? And this spell with the attack action has a range of 30 feet. And this means that you are also proficient with it, so you can add your proficiency bonus, and you add your dexterity modifier to the attack and the damage rolls, which is really nice because most casters, like the sorcerer, the warlock, the druid, the cleric, the warlock, the wizard, they do not get to add a modifier to the damage. So Radiant Sunbolt is already awesome off of the bat, because now not only do you get to add you get your proficiency and dex to hit, now you get your dexterity modifier to your damage too, which is really nice. Now, once you hit with your radiant bolt of magic, it's going to deal radiant damage, and the damage die is going to start at a D4. All right, it's going to basically be starting as your martial arts damage at a D4. And the die will change as you gain monk levels, as shown in the martial arts column. So as you can see here, it's going to go up all the way to a D10. So over time, level 5, you'll get D6. Level 11, you'll get D8. And then eventually level 17, you'll do a D10. And then that D10 will be plus your dexterity modifier, which will be pretty nice. And when you use the attack action on your turn to use this special attack, you can spend one more key. Well, you can spend a key point to make 2 additional attacks with it as a bonus action. So not only are you going to be able to take your standard action, throw 1 bolt, as a bonus action, you can throw 2 more as long as you have a key point. And then as the higher level you get, the more key points you're going to spend. So, I mean, your monk technically will not even need to really engage combat. You can throw 3 bolts around starting at level 3. That is pretty awesome to have 3 attacks around starting at level 3. And that's Radiant Sunbolt. That's a great archetype feature. I love it. So the next way the Sun Soul feature that you're going to get is Searing Arc Strike, and you're going to get this at level 6. This is where you're going to gain the ability to channel your ki into searing waves of energy. So immediately after you take the attack action on your turn, you can spend 2 key points to cast the first level burning spell Hands as a bonus action. And that's really nice because burning hands is a standard action normally. So now instead of, you get to do your normal attack with your standard action, your bonus action, you spend 2 key points and you cast Burning Hands. Burning Hands is a really nice spell. It comes out in a 15-foot cone and it does 3d6 fire damage. And it is an upgradable spell. So, for Searing Arc Strike, you can spend additional key points to cast Burning Hands as a higher level spell. And each additional key point that you spend increases the spell's level by 1. And the maximum number of key points, which is going to be 2 plus any additional points that you're going to upgrade it with, that you can spend on the spell will equal half your monk's level rounded down. So for instance, if you're level 6, you can cast it as a 3rd level spell. So you would take the first level, it would be 2 points. You can upgrade it 2 more times to do an additional 1d6 damage per key point. You spend 4 key points, you'll do 46 fire damage. So that's how Searing Strike works. It's actually a really nice spell, and it'll hit multiple targets. So next, let's take a look at your level 11 Way of the Sun Soul monk feature, and this is called Searing Sunburst. So at level 11, you're going to gain the ability to create an orb of light that erupts into a devastating explosion. We can already see where this is going. Pretty much fireball. So, as an action, you create an orb and you hurl it at a point you choose within 150 feet. 150 feet is massive in both theater of mind and on any kind of tactical battle map. It is crazy. So I don't think you'll have problem hitting this Searing Sunburst anywhere you want to. So whenever you choose that point within 150 feet, where it erupts, it's going to erupt into a sphere of radiant light for a brief but deadly instant. So each creature that is going to be within the blast, which is going to be a 20-foot radius sphere centered on the point, all are going to have to succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 2d6 radiant damage. Now, a creature does not need to make this saving throw if the creature is behind total cover, so it doesn't have to worry about it. Now, you can also you can increase the sphere's damage by spending key points. So each point that you spend, up to a maximum of 3, will increase the Searing Sunburst sphere by 2d6. That is really nice. So basically it's going to work like this. You, as an action, you create your orb. That doesn't cost you any key whatsoever. And it's going to do base of 2d6. So if you say, okay, I'm going to spend 3 key points, and I'm going to do, instead of 2d6, I'm upgrading at 3 points. I'm adding 6d6 more. I'm doing 8d6 Searing Sunburst damage to this. I cast it within 150 feet. It explodes, 20-foot radius. As long as all the creatures are not under cover, complete cover, they make Constitution saving throws. They fail the saving throws. They take 2d6, or in this case, 8d6 radiant damage. Really nice. Now, one thing that I do notice on Searing Sunburst, the first time that I read this, was there's no half damage on a successful save. So you're either going to fail and take damage, and if you're successful, you'll take no damage. So that's something to also consider when casting Searing Sunburst. All right. So the final Way of the Sun Soul archetype feature is going to be called Sunshield. And this is when you're going to get, this is what you're going to get at level 17. And this is where you become wreathed in a beautiful luminous aura. And you're going to shed bright light in a 30-foot radius all around you for 30 feet. And then after the 30 feet of bright light, you're going to shed dim light for an additional 30 feet. And you can extinguish this light or restore the light as a bonus action. So you can basically turn it on and off. Now, if a creature hits you with a melee attack while you're using Sunshield, if they hit you with a melee attack while this light shines, and it has to be shining, you can use your reaction to deal radiant damage to the creature. And that radiant damage that you can reflect back with your reaction will be radiant damage equaling 5 plus your wisdom modifier. So make sure you have to have your reaction. So you only get one reaction around. If you used it taking a, an opportunity attack or something like that, then you won't be able to benefit from Sunshield. So really, really watch that reaction. So what do you guys think of the Way of the Sun Soul Monk? I think it's pretty strong. I really like it. I like how you can take the Radiant Sunbolt, cast 3 bolts. I definitely like Searing Sunburst. 20-foot radius is actually really large with a 150-foot range. I'm really impressed with the Way of the Sun Soul. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments section down below. Also, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like the video. Please share it with your buddies that play D&D 5e to see if they want to play one of these monks. So anyways, once again, I'm David, and until next time, everybody keep rolling those great critical scores.